Stephen Shields Radio Show.
Shields Radio Show on this Sunday night on this long weekend. Man, it was such a fantastic grand final this year from Penrith Panthers that have won 4 grand finals in a row, guys. I repeat, 4 grand finals in a row. Melbourne Storm did very well. They were always making it into the finals as well. But well done to Penrith Panthers, 4 in a row, and obviously it's very, very hard work to be able to win even one grand final. Obviously, I think it was when the St. George Steelers, didn't they win like 10 in a row in the 50s or 60s? Obviously, back in those days, there wasn't really a salary cap as they have now. With the salary cap and the way the game is basically played, it's obviously gotten more faster now. Players get injured more. Even back then, they do. No, it was a great game, and what an amazing club, and a great work for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs as well. They made it to the finals, and they played much better this year. And Jerome Luai is moving to West Tigers, apparently. So when you have a premiership player in your team, it's well worth. They're a valuable asset for your team to have and to keep. The trouble is with footy these days, NRL, NFL, and all that, players get hurt, of course, and then there's salary caps involved. And the trouble is, when Melbourne got stripped of all their premierships because didn't they go over their salary cap, it's such a kick in the teeth because Craig Bellamy has had to very, very high standards. Craig Bellamy has at the club in Melbourne. Basically, even if Melbourne don't win a grand final, they made it to the grand final this year. They'll make it to the semis. That's what they're averaging. They're always up there. Such an amazing team. So Melbourne Storm, they don't get all the media attention like clubs in New South Wales. Same as Sydney Swans. Sydney Swans are a good AFL team if people are into Aussie rules. It's what an amazing year of football and the highest standards. So this is 4 grand finals in a row. Penrith have won. That's amazing. And it's a long grind this season. It's such a long grind. The season is to have as well. So, looking forward to more footy. Obviously, round 1 of NRL goes to Las Vegas next year in 2025. Should be good. But cricket season will be starting. As you know, I go to the cricket in the summer. I go watch the KFC Big Bash, or I go watch the 2020. That's a great day out. The test matches is good. It's just great to get out of the house, I guess. And, But apparently there's been, John Daly. As you know, John Daly is a great golfer. One of his, was it mansion in Florida was, one of his houses, a $1.4 million waterfront was damaged through natural disasters. I think there was a hurricane going on in the US. His family is safe as well. Basically, the former PGA champ 58 wrote on Facebook on September 27, hours after the killer cane made US landfall around Perry, about 3 hours north of Clearwater. Quote daily, quote news.com.au. Quote, total loss and devastation after living here all my life. I still cannot imagine all we lost, but we are safe and all can be replaced. Praise God. Quote, he said. Quote, news.com.au. Yeah, it just goes to show that natural disasters, floods, hurricanes, we get them here in Australia too. When it gets to that time of the year, obviously. See, John Daly was known for smoking his cigarettes on the golf course. I think he loved his Bud Light. He's what made golf darn entertaining and fun to watch. The game of golf needs more John Daly, okay? We need more John Daly in the game of golf, all right? Yeah, he just made it. Yeah, look, a lot of golf. See, the game of golf, right? A lot of golfers can turn professional. Okay. But not every professional golfer wins a tournament or a major. How many out of all the golfers in the world are like Tiger Woods, like who were the Jack Nicklaus or the Ben Hogan, who were the elite of golf? Okay. They're the ones that really were like the top of the food chain in the game of golf. Same as John Daly. He won a few tournaments, big tournaments as well. We also too having problems with gambling, and he's been very open and honest about that. I mean, always a great golfer. We definitely need more John Daly in golf, I believe. Yeah, so basically, the storms caused a lot of damage to the property, but he has said that he's safe as well. So that's that's good. That's good news to see that he is safe and well after this storm that does happen. Yeah, because it's when it gets to that point, storm season, it can be scary for everyone. I mean, in Australia, we have basically bushfires, been going on for years and years. That's just how it is. Apparently, there's a Chinese the Chinese EVs are getting a huge tax put on them. It's basically one of the electric vehicle. Apparently, or the European Union wanted to put more taxes on electric vehicles made in China. Now that's interesting. Yeah, it's just so basically, could it be possible here that like our government too is wanting us to have electric vehicles, and then basically they want to start overtaxing it? Okay. I mean, this is from what I research, of course, from my news sources. A lot of these Chinese car imports, to be honest, do not trust and wouldn't want to drive it. Yeah, basically, you don't know what listening devices they're putting into them. Not only this could do a trade war with China as well, because unfortunately, the world has to rely on China for trade and export. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know how this is going to work with overtaxing electric vehicles. But apparently Australia wants to go all carbon emissions and net zero on these electric vehicles. The question I would have for these electric vehicle makers is, okay, taking it to the mechanic, where are you going to find a mechanic to help service your car? Okay, with these lithium-ion batteries being built that they want to wipe out petrol cars and make people get all sustainability and climate change and carbon emissions. So that's the question I'll ask. Well, how are you going to maintain the car? This is what world leaders don't think about, guys, is they want to start wiping away petrol cars in order to go electric, and then they could start taxing electric cars on us, because they know that there's profit available for them as well. Okay. Yeah, so there's obviously a problem with China, and I mean, unfortunately, Apple, our mobile phones, everything's made in China these days. I'm talking cars, by the way. I mean, things have improved a lot since being made in China. Obviously, if you want something more quality over quantity, yeah, you know, I'd have to buy something made in France or whatever. So, yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? What's going on out there? It's quite sad that this all these missile strikes going on in the world with Israel, Hezbollah, Iran. There's just no peace going on out there. People protesting and supporting terrorist organisations. They'll protest it here in Australia, Palestine as well. Police obviously can't do anything about it. All these missiles that being shot in the air is just money going down the drain. You should watch the Dr. Phil interview with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It's quite interesting. It's on Rumble. Yeah, it just goes to show that it just seems to never end, all this stuff, I guess. Obviously, all these satellite images, I'm just flicking through news.com.au right now. Okay. And so the problem is, a lot of it's got to do with oil as well. That too. And it does get more complicated, but yes, there are bad people out there that need to be stopped. It just comes down to what I see it at the moment, just greed, power, and for what? Waste of taxpayers' money going down the drain, especially the American government too is guilty of it with the George Bush administration. A lot of it, they spent all this money on the war, invading Iraq and Afghanistan, and where is it now? They pulled out. Or was the war all for nothing? Same as Australia, I think New Zealand, Britain. So this is, yeah. It just seems to be no peace out there in the Middle East. It just seems to keep on going and going. Because at the end of the day, war is profit for government. You fight for the government, and you get nothing out of it in return. So, all I can say is to everyone who listens to my show is don't join the Defence Force. Okay. Yeah, you're just a number to the Australian government, and it's quite sad how veterans are treated. So, yeah, and look, America at the moment, we've got to get the Democrats out of power as well. Now, I quite like Kamala Harris. All right, I think she's much better than Joe Biden. I think she's a great woman. We do need more women leaders in politics as well. But, good on Donald Trump for standing up after having 2 assassination attempts. It goes to show that he wants good for what the people, for the American people. You should look back at when Donald Trump was in wrestling, when he shaved Vince McMahon's head bald. That was funny, wasn't it? Yeah, so that to me, as you know, I'm pretty passionate about politics on the show, of course. Yeah, it's just obviously I could say to my American audience, when it comes to the next election, please vote carefully, because we've seen the destruction of what Joe Biden has done for years, and pretty much the world for the last 4 years. Same as the Labor Party in Australia. Yeah, so basically, always think, make the choice who I'm voting for going to help us, or it's just there to get freebies and travel the world. like a lot of politicians do, Kevin Rudd included, going around with taxpayers' money. He's apparently the US ambassador, but yet it's going around on private jets to Switzerland and all these luxury resorts with taxpayers' money. This is what I don't understand about politicians these days. Most of them just get into the parliament and then just go on all these nice luxury holidays with taxpayers' money and do nothing. Okay. Well, you, the people, are struggling to work hard, and they're just bludgeoning off yours. Okay. So we do need more honest politicians out there. Okay. It's like, as you know, I am not happy with the airline industry as well. Apparently, there was a Jetstar passenger had to pay $600 for a new flight because of a little known name rule. Quote, due to a little known name rule, say she was left in tears over the ordeal, quote, news.com.au. The 28-year-old Melbourne woman was flying from Hobart, was in Hobart last week, just on a mini holiday. Obviously, problems happen when you check in at the airport. That's always fun for everyone. Half the time you look at the workers there from the flight companies, they don't even want to be there. I've, in my experience, dealt with some in a shitty mood, which is not fun. Obviously, she had to show the ID, but the driver's license was in her maiden name and not her married name. That was printed on the digital boarding pass. Yes, it goes to show the airline companies are asking people for ID, actually, even traveling domestically. They do that as well. So apparently, fees and charges for the Jetstar, it costed about, $70 for a name change on the domestic flight. Now, obviously, the airports, they don't take cash, apparently. Do they take cash? Or I know at the cafes and when you go and eat, go to the news agent, they do, but I don't know if the airline company do, which is quite stupid. Yeah, it's not. I mean, sometimes that's the only way to get home. And she was told to buy a new ticket to get home. Now, of course, this poor woman would have been devastated and scared and anxious because there's nothing worse when you're told to fork out the money to get yourself home, and it's like, well, and this poor woman had to. And then what happens if you don't have it? How the hell are you going to get home? And they're not going to let you board the plane. I just find that from Jetstar to be just greed, honestly, and I'm fed up with airline companies exploiting customers and robbing customers out of money just for them to make a profit, like Virgin Airlines, as you know, Qantas, Jetstar, they can fuck off because I'm just sick and tired of people being ripped off and bullied around, and it's just not right. I have heard of for instance, when I went to Melbourne on the Jetstar, one of the low budget airlines, the flight attendants just didn't even look like they wanted to be there. They're just, oh no, we can't take cash. Do you want to buy a $5 can of Coke? Oh, but you got to pay by your credit card, sort of thing. It's just control. Yeah, this is what, a 40-minute flight. So these companies can make profit out of yours, okay? No, I don't like it as a customer or any customer that you have to use these services, right? And the flight attendants are rude. I mean, that to me is it's just un-Australian, unacceptable as well. Yeah, I don't know. Since COVID took over, it's wrecked everything. And look, man, these big companies, Qantas, Jetstar, Virgin Airlines, I couldn't care. I'm fed up with them. Obviously, hygiene-wise, airplanes have never been the most cleanest place. I don't know, since COVID, they had to sort of crack down on cleaning and hygiene practices, but they don't care. Look, no customers should feel uncomfortable and get a bad service. All right. Yeah, obviously these budget airlines, they're not fun. It was only, a 40-minute flight, but very uncomfortable. That's kind of my rant about airline companies and airline travel these days. Apparently, was it Etihad Airlines have a very good service, and it's quite sad to see that people are walking away from Qantas because Qantas was one of the best airlines you could have in Australia, but not anymore. No, and obviously too, the airport is not a fun place for anyone going there or having to go through all the security and all that stuff. Dealing with cranky border people out there. Obviously, you just try and be a good person as you can. But, yeah, the airport to me is just not. It's not a fun place for anyone. I don't know. It's just not fun. Remember in the old days of before this problems happened in the world that the Boeing 747 and the airport was, I'd say 50 years ago, was more relaxed. Now it's, not fun at all. So, who knows, I guess. But anyway, there was a woman, Alexa Taurasi. She survived 21 days naked in a Colombian jungle on the show Ultimate Survival Series, Naked and Afraid. It's crazy to survive naked in a jungle, in a Colombian jungle. I wouldn't. I would never recommend that at all. Because it's just. That's just crazy stuff. Really crazy stuff as well. So. Yeah, no, it's interesting what people do out there and how they can push themselves through the challenge of the jungle. See, I'd be more concerned about mosquitoes and bugs. Those are the things I'd be most worried about, is the bugs and the mosquitoes when you're in the jungle or any tropical area. Crazy. Basically, it's quite sad to see that Daniel Ricciardo has left the sport of Formula One. Very, very good driver. Liam Lawson was not handed the best start for the next Grand Prix in Texas. Now, Liam Lawson was handed a penalty for some reason. I don't know what it was or what happened. Probably because he's taken over Daniel Ricciardo's spot. So we'll wait and see how the race turns out. Okay. Yeah, it's obviously high pressure, Formula One. Very high pressure for these drivers. So, yeah, I wonder what the future for Daniel Ricciardo will be. Yeah, he didn't obviously push against Yuki Tsunoda, but he's done very well to race at the highest level of Formula One and racing cars at one of the highest level in the world. But speaking of Formula One, Michael Schumacher was seen for the first time in 11 years. Since the tragic accident happened, we haven't heard anything from Michael Schumacher. We know that he's in a nice mansion being looked after by doctors and family members that have wanted to keep his life private, which is understandable. Because Michael Schumacher suffered a very serious head injury from a skiing accident in the French Alps in December 2013, but the family kept it to themselves on his condition. We haven't heard anything from Michael Schumacher on social media. So that's a update for you guys on what's been happening. It was from news.com.au. It's good to keep up to date as well. Apparently, there's an insurance giant that's getting rid of 214 jobs. The $17.3 billion company told the finance sector union it will cut 214 jobs from its Direct Insurance Australia and intermediated Insurance Australia divisions, quote, news.com.au, quote. Yeah, no, it's quite sad. Like, I don't understand how insurance companies will cut jobs because they make a shitload of money, they do. And the problem is when I have to make a claim, they'll try their best to argue their way out of it. It's so that's what's going on in the economy today as well, with these big companies that Yeah, they just make way too much money. Way too much more money, of course. Yeah, so basically, that's obviously in the insurance sector that's going on COVID too. Although insurance companies have put their prices up quite a lot as well. Um, yeah, that's how it is. Speaking of the crazy world, there was 2 days ago. This huge police helicopter was flying right over our house, and my God, the engine was so bloody loud. It was flying so low the ground. I don't know what he's looking for. Is he looking for aliens or UFOs or whatever? Probably the military do go looking for extraterrestrial life. Something's crashed, so they can do their best to keep it a secret from the world out there. God, I hate that. Or when you get like an army helicopter at 10 o'clock at night flying and roaring their bloody engine. Fuck's sake, it gives me the shits, honestly. Um, I don't know. I don't know, mate. Um, yeah, I've probably spoken on the show about Men in Black as well, showing up to people's houses. Um, Does anyone believe in those Men in Black people that from the government they show up to people's houses if they've had contact with extraterrestrial life form? And if anyone has had experience, how would you feel if two Men in Black, honestly, and I'm not trying to be stupid here, randomly one day just showed up to your door, or because they're spying on people and using intimidation tactics, okay, to try and silence people? How would you feel, honestly? And then the police ain't going to believe you because they're going to think, one, you're crazy. I've heard cases of Men in Black stalking people. Yeah, I wonder how you would feel, or how people would feel, because there are people that do get involved in UFO research, of course. Um, and I don't know if they're getting uncovering the truth. Then I've watched some documentaries on the History Channel about Men in Black just randomly showing up to your house one day, and apparently they will silence you or what. How would you feel as a person actually when that happens, and why that? If they're being sent by the US government or Australian government to silence people. Yeah, that's. I mean, wouldn't you think that's kind of odd or weird that that would happen to someone? Now, if that's happened to you, and yeah, it's how did it make you feel? Um, yeah, I mean, look, I just don't like how like government want to control everyone, okay, and digital identifications too. That to me is just, yeah, not good at all. Not good. Um, digital IDs and digital passports, digital vaccine certificates, which you can, digital medical records, all want you to go digital everything. So people can hack your data and go and sell it and all your personal information, and they will do that. So yeah, that's these are the times that we live in with the world now. No, but it's definitely very crazy out there, and there's a lot of crazy encounters that have happened. Who knows what goes on at Area 51 and Pine Gap, Australia? These American bases getting intelligence. Quite possible there's underground bases out there. It wouldn't surprise me. As I said to you guys, I've never seen any UFOs or I've never seen any aliens. But we do know that Area 51 does exist, and there's a lot of classified documents from the CIA, the NSA as well. I don't understand why the Americans want to build an American base in Australia in Pine Gap. Like, obviously, people have the right to know, like, American bases being built overseas. Yeah. But that's just, that's life, isn't it? Do everything they can to deny it. The Australian people have a right to know. Okay. The German supermarket brand Aldi has come into the media again this week. Basically, they're looking to get into the travel industry, which is interesting, and planning to book holidays, of course. To me, I don't, probably wouldn't be interested in Audi becoming a travel agent when they're a supermarket. Yeah, that's just, yeah, that's, to me, it's just, I mean, is Audi a corporation? I don't think they are. Yeah, I don't think Audi is a corporation. It could be. So, yeah, huge supermarkets are going to try new things all the time. Okay. And, yeah. But that's just how it is. Asbestos, as you know, is quite bad for your health, causes cancer. It's been hanging around the construction and mining industries as well. The Lung Foundation Australia is exposing the risk of silicosis, which impacts more than 600,000 Aussies in the construction, mining, manufacturing, and tunnelling industries. Quote, news.com.au, quote. Yeah, no, asbestos is bad, and obviously, silicosis is quite deadly as well, and that's why if workers are working with asbestos, they need to wear full PPE. PPE, okay? Because that PPE is important with asbestos, all right? The symptoms of this silicosis is persistent cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing. It can appear from a few weeks to many years after being exposed to silica dust. Yeah, a lot of these dust and particles in the air that we breathe, we can't even see it. And then eventually, yeah, it does catch up to you and does affect your lungs, of course. So that's stuff to take into consideration, of course. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of these lung conditions are, you know, a lot of these lung conditions are very dangerous, of course. Last year, Safe Work Australia, they wanted to ban the engineered stone because it could become the next asbestos issue in the construction industry for the health of the workers in the construction industry. Yeah. So obviously, if they're going to build anything, then yeah, obviously they've got to check for asbestos. I know around the local area, Oran Park, things got cautioned off because of asbestos. There's always a problem going on in the world that we're in. It just doesn't stop, doesn't it? Eh? Shit. And yeah, that's the asbestos is quite bad because they should never be building buildings on asbestos. Like, years ago, of course, it was a different world. But now we know more about it. Medical information is more up to date than it was 50 years ago, but now we definitely have to pay attention to this stuff because of it. May not affect your lungs now, but it can start to affect you 20, 30 years in your life down the track. So that's what we've got to, I guess, pay attention to as well. But now it's one of those issues where basically I would say that, yeah, we builders in the construction industry have to have common sense about building buildings. So that's just how it is. obviously, when we start hearing talks of China, tensions with Russia, China, World War III, it's possible. Iron prices surged 10%. It was a major boost for the Australian economy as well. Coal-fired power stations, coal, gas is the way to go, not carbon emissions, not climate change, not sustainability. And what's next? Al Gore's biggest scam of all time, climate change, global warming. One point I did actually believe in all that stuff. Yeah, weather's an interesting one. Weather's something that I do pay quite a lot of attention to. Is weather for me? I believe weather is something that we've got to pay attention to all the time. Yeah, apparently these Chinese electric vehicles that are actually listening to us. It's allowing, like, this is why I wouldn't trust a Chinese electric vehicle, because number one, the manufacturers can just easily sneak recording devices in these cars, and they're listening to you, listening to conversations, data harvesting as well, chat GPT as well, selling people's data. So I'm very skeptical about a lot of these Chinese companies, because number one, they say it's free, but nothing's free when they want to steal data and personal information, like all these Alexas and all these talk Siri. I don't even use Siri on my phone, actually. I don't trust that thing. I've even told Siri, like, this is what I don't get with Siri and Hey Google and Hey Alexa. You ask them a question. Oh, I don't know. Well, then, what use are you good for? They want to start pushing AI into our lives. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that, guys, because yeah, that's just not going to work at all. Too much technology, smart watches. I mean, I have enough technology on my phone as usual. But yeah, that's the issues that we have today. Just too much technology going on. Way too much technology. There's been a cruise ship that has been stranded for 4 months, 600 passengers on the Odyssey. They were celebrated after leaving the harbour in Belfast to set for the Caribbean, and a lot of people have sold their houses and sold a lot of things to go on this trip. Very expensive cruise line, of course, the Odyssey ship. So apparently there's paperwork that still needs to be complete, and yeah, it was supposed to be a 3-year tour of Europe, Asia, and the Americas, but the ship was stuck in Belfast for 4 months because the crew discovered problems with the rudders and gearbox. It was a massive ship which docked in Belfast on the 30th of May. but only previously left the harbour after 11:30 p.m. on Monday. Quite sad to see that people have sold their houses to go on these nice luxury cruise ships, and then all this paperwork stuff, and then how is your travel insurance going to cover this because the cruise ship malfunctioned? We look at it's like a 27,000. I think this is in pounds. To go on one of these Odyssey ships, £27,000 or 52,000 Australian dollars just for 1 month. So a lot of people have sold a lot of possessions between £75,000. That is about 145,000 Australian, £700,000 Australian, at least 1.3 million for a cabin. So that's roughly what people are paying to go on this huge luxury cruise ship. One of the balcony mini suite is costing at least 480,000 Australian, US 329,000. So hopefully the ship's passed all the certifications. No one should ever go on a holiday and then it gets cancelled because of mechanical errors, of course, which is quite sad. Obviously our holidays. I mean, Australia is such a huge place to travel. You wouldn't believe how big Australia is. Australia has everything that we have. It's like there's snow, there's sun, it gets humid, gets cold. You go down south, it's cold, it gets hot, it gets windy. Yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? How much Australia has. And just to find out, whoa, how much are we missing in this amazing island nation as well? That's that's how I see it happening as well today. But the weather's starting to heat up more. The weather right now is 16 degrees Celsius. It feels like 14.8. If my thing will update for you as I can give you a weather report, because I do like talking about weather on this show. No, it's just nice. It's not too hot during the day. 16 degrees, feels like 14.8. It's going to be a low of 10. It'll be a top of 30 degrees tomorrow. So I hope everyone is enjoying their long weekend, because it's just good to yeah, enjoy the long weekend, of course. The sunrise today was at 6:28 a.m. The sunset was 7:04 p.m. Was sunset. Waxing crescent moon phase. First quarter is the 11th of October. Rain 95%. High chance of no rain. Wind 4 kilometers an hour. 4 kilometers an hour gust. 60% humidity. 0 millimeters of rain since 9 a.m. Okay. Tomorrow, sunny, partly cloudy, low of 10 degrees, top of 30. No rain. Tuesday, sunny with a shower or two, low of 12 degrees, top of 16. That's interesting, this weather. Wednesday, it will be cloudy, low of 9 degrees, top of 19. Cloudy, no rain. Thursday, sunny, partly cloudy, low of 8 degrees, top of 26, top of 26, no rain. Friday, sunny, partly cloudy, a low of 10 degrees, top of 22 degrees, 0 to 1 millimeters of rain. Saturday, sunny with showers, low of 8 degrees, top of 23, 0 to 1 millimeters of rain. Sunday, cloudy, low of 9 degrees, top of 21, 0 to 1 millimeters of rain. Yeah, no, it's as I said earlier, it's great to see how Penrith were able to win the grand final again, and good on them. They've done very well to really get out there, and we've worked hard. That hard work does pay off quite a lot as well. No, it's been quite an interesting show today, of course. There's always something to talk about on the podcast. And what's been going on in footy as well. But it's been an interesting year of sport so far that has happened. I mean, yeah. When was like I said, how many clubs out there in footy have been able to win 4 grand finals in a row? 4 in a row, guy. Not very many. Yeah, that shows good discipline, and shows that Penrith are one of the best football teams in the world, of course. There's a lot of sad things going on too, called forced marriage in Australia, which is it's very disgusting, actually. And the Australian Federal Police are investigating at least 2 forced marriages of women a week. But there's not enough policing into forced marriage. Now, the victims who have been involved in forced marriage have not given any consent. It's forced, and it's criminal. A lot of it's to do with human trafficking offences as well. That's going on. It's I mean, this stuff just needs to basically stop as well. Because it's just not right at all. Shame on the parents for if the parents are doing this, that's just disgusting. Slavery as well. And it is a crime in Australia. Okay. Okay. It's just, it's not good. So it's not just girls who can be a victim of forced marriage. Boys, men too can be, boys as well. Now, the Commonwealth Marriage Act 1961 includes provisions whereby a marriage is void if the consent of a party was not real or if a party was not of marriageable age, quote, Daily Telegraph, quote. Yeah, so this is like some sick, evil stuff that's going on that basically just shouldn't be happening. Okay. I think Australians now are eligible for a free shingles vaccine. The government's expanding the program out there. Just flicking through the Daily Telegraph. Yeah, shingles is. A lot of people do get shingles. The symptoms include fever, headaches, chills, upset stomach as well. Basically, the free shingles vaccination is now available to more people over 18 who are immunocompromised due to the underlying health condition or as a side effect of treatment. Quote Daily Telegraph, quote. So yeah, that's but people are advised to talk to their general practitioner in order to see if you're available to get the shingles vaccine. Of course, you should always consult your doctor before getting vaccinations. Again, this is just news. What I research on too. Okay. But basically, yeah, it's yes, there's always something to talk about on the Stephen Shields radio show. Speaking about content creation, I know Pond5 and Motion Elements just been having problems with uploading for some reason, and Pond5 telling me that they need me to use WeTransfer to send audio files. I did a YouTube video about it today, before it goes up and becomes available. Yeah, don't you hate that as a content creator when you want to create best content that you can, and it takes like you just feel like you're getting stuffed around. God, I hate that. Really hate that. Liverpool Hospital has an 830 million. I think had an upgrade as well. A lot of our government hospitals need to be upgraded more. Yeah, need to invest more in government hospitals too, because that's just what we could do. Obviously, the Western Sydney airport's in a mess. How the trucks on the road going to deliver petrol for the aircraft for the new airport? Has this airport been planned out properly? Is it a recipe for disaster? It's at least, God, I don't know how much it's going to cost. Obviously, flight paths as well. The fuel pipeline won't be ready in time for the airport to open. Yeah, I can remember. Yeah, you're looking at 1.5 billion litres of fuel to be required from the year of 2026. And that's going to rise to at least 2 billion litres to 2036. And then 3 billion litres by the 2050s, quote Daily Telegraph. That's an estimation, of course, on petrol. Now, Transport for New South Wales don't know exactly how many trucks are going to be needed to transport the fuel to the airport for the passengers in 2026. Okay. So obviously, before building this airport, they need to plan things out properly. Okay. That's all I can say. Obviously, inflation as well has affects the cost of petrol and the cost of everything as well. Airport, airline, jet fuel is very expensive. Yeah. How are the people Western Sydney going to put up with a 24 hours a day non-curfew airport? Shouldn't have to put up with that. Like, wouldn't you think at the airport that there is curfews at certain times of the day that they just cannot be landing at the airport? So there are dangers, of course. M5 and the M7 and M12 as well. So apparently when the airport opens, it's supposed to carry at least 10 million passengers and 220,000 tonnes of air cargo a year, and the numbers to increase by 82 million passengers in the coming years, quote Daily Telegraph. But how many fuel trucks are going to be needed to go in and out of this airport as well? The mayor of Campbelltown, George Gree, said there was need for sufficiently upgraded roads to service trucks and other vehicles, adding that relying on current infrastructure would be a recipe for disaster. Quote Campbelltown Mayor George Greaves. Yeah, I think he is right. At least he's honest about his thoughts on the airport today as well. Problem is when the population is increasing and certain areas of Western Sydney don't have a decent bus service, yeah, that to me is just not fair for anyone out there, of course. No, who knows? All right. Obviously, Israel has stepped up attacks, up Lebanon attacks as well. This is just quite. This is a mess. There's a lot of tensions as well going on over there, and when this attack on October 7th last year, okay, this war, Israel versus Hezbollah, you can read up about it in the news too. Now, there is Australian citizens that are having a hard time leaving Lebanon because there's not many flights that are departing, and there's 300 Australians in Lebanon are registered with the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, DFAT, as wanting to depart, quote, Daily Telegraph. Qantas will operate 2 free non-stop flights from Cyprus back to Sydney, the first of which is due to depart on Monday, according to the airline. The flights will be operated using a Qantas Boeing 787. Will be able to carry up to 440 Australians back home, Qantas said in a statement. Quote Daily Telegraph. The first service is expected to depart Larnaca in Cyprus on Monday evening local time, arriving in Sydney on Tuesday. Yeah, look, our government do need to help out more people going on as well, especially people stuck in Lebanon need help to get back home, and yeah, just we'll obviously keep more up to date on what's going on. No, I hope you've enjoyed the show today as well. If you'd like to purchase any of my work on Pond 5 and Motion Elements, you're most welcome to. It helps support me grow. If you'd like to, please subscribe to the Stephen Shields Radio Show. Turn on your notifications as well. I publish new episodes every Friday at 6 p.m. Sydney, Australia time. I've just recently achieved 600 episodes, so just hit another milestone of podcasting, which has been fantastic as well. Take care, everyone, and have a good night.